Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Nikki Zick, and today we're going to be doing a lotus pond in mixed media using water-soluble crayons and watercolor paints. This is a layering effect that's wet on dry, but there's lots of layers that go on to make this artwork happen. It's a 5x7 postcard, or it could be framed and given to someone or for yourself. And it was a fun project and I wanted to share. So let's prop it up with our Relax Rock and my Evil Eye. And I'm going to start, I did a light sketch, you can hardly see it probably on the camera, but of where I want to place my lotus flowers and lily pads. And I'm going to start by using my 1/4" dagger, and I'm going to be using two pinks. The first is a lighter pink, more like a carnation pink, and you'll see, and I want it to be a thin consistency, semi-transparent, and I'm just going to go here and there and make lotus blossoms, petals in different directions on how it grows. And then we'll jump up to the top left and start with a flower there. And the reason why I'm jumping around and not working with one flower at a time is because I do want to do the layering effect and have some time for each section to dry. So that's the philosophy behind that. And as you see, I want light areas and dark areas, and then we're going to add a magenta pink and crayons. But right now, we're just laying down the groundwork for our painting. Next, I'm going to go into a green, medium tone green for the lily pad, kind of on the grass green side, and just go below the lily pad. And once again, this is just the first layer of paint that I'm going to be putting down on all of the artwork, so it's just going to be here and there, and just a wiggly line. You could try not to touch the pink too much, but it should be dry at this point because I laid it down first. But if it does touch, it's okay. We're going to be blending more paint and crayon as we go. We'll wait to do the water and we'll go back into the flowers. This time I'm using a magenta, brighter pink, and I'm going to go into some of the centers and the darker part of the flower for this darker magenta. So go inside the centers, and at the bottom base of the flowers, we're going to put the magenta. Again, using the dagger brush to get those nice points that a lotus flower has. Okay, now that all my flowers are, I would say, wet, I'm going to pull up my petal rose crayon and just do some petal markings into the wet crayon. Doesn't have to be exact. We're just going to draw into the petals. Some of the areas will be dry and you'll just have a crayon marking, which is nice and part of the effect. Live camera TV. There goes my crayon in half. No problem. See below here, we have some bleeding going on. We can pull it up a little with a damp brush. But I am going to be layering more green and green crayon. So we'll let that dry a bit. The lotus flowers look nice. I might lift a little color here to have a little bit more highlight. Maybe down here too. Some areas might get heavy with the crayon on top, but you can always remove and blot it away, as I'm doing now. Okay, we'll go back in with our green We'll start at this lily pad. And I want my paint to be liquidy and more to the watery side than the creamy side. And this lily pad down below, dab in some green where the pink bled. And now I'm going to go in with my grass green crayon and draw some lines of the lily pad going into the lotus flower. And if you want, you can outline the edge of the lily pad, give it more form, and in the center you can add some darks underneath the lily pad. Here again, we'll go around the edge, make some lines going in, and darkness underneath the lily pad. And the final one on the left, around outside the lily pad, and lines to go under. And to give it depth, we'll add some darks under each of the lily pads using the green crayon. Next, we'll start with our water, and now I'm switching over to a round brush, and I'm using a color that's like a peacock green. This is a go-to color that I like. It's like in between blue and green, and I'm doing now wet on dry. I'm just laying down some color to indicate water ripples in the pond that these lily pads are living in with the lotus flower. And we'll be able to go in between the leaves, the petals, with the aqua color. Doesn't have to be exact. You can just go around the edge. I'm going to add some water now and blend some of the lines with a lighter liquefied sense of this color. We will be adding crayon on the end after we lay down our groundwork of peacock green around each lily pad. You can make some dark areas. And then you want to have a horizon line, because then we're going to add a lighter blue for the sky. Now just making sure that all of my water is wet. I'm going to go in with my crayon and add some details using a cobalt green. Just do some line work, some waves in the water. You could start a line, break it up, giving it more irregularity. You can double up near a line, and underneath the lily pad you can go darker, like we did with the lotus flower, to give it some depth. And if you dip the crayon in water on the bottom, it rejuvenates it and lets you draw again. We're coming right along, and now we're going to finish actually with our sky. And for this I'm doing a wet on wet technique, and I wet the paper with clean water, and I'm going into a very light pale blue and just pull it across the sky. Go from one end to the other, and then gradually pull it into your flowers. Bring it down to the water of the pond, and just gradually bring the sky together with the rest of the painting. I didn't put any crayon in the sky. I felt like it didn't really need it. I'm blending some of the crayon marks now in the water just to make them slightly diffused. And actually we have water on the bottom to blot away. I also want to go into these dark areas where there's crayon and just blend underneath the flowers as well, and blend the crayon marks and soften the edges on the outsides of the lily pads. And there is our final piece. Lotus flowers on lily pads in a pond, done with water-soluble crayons and watercolor paints on a 5x7 card. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe so that way you'll be alerted of new videos. So I'll see you again. Happy painting!